some high schoolers. We have some high schoolers from around the St. Louis area here to talk to you guys about roadway safety. And not only that, but also education about roadway safeties and their experiences, what they learned, their findings. And also we're here to test your knowledge about roadway safety and see how you guys are safe on the roads. So before we start, we have a poll for you all to take. If you guys could just press the link that Mr. Jeff is gonna send in the chat. That link is for a survey. If you could please take that survey. We'll give you like it's like five questions. So we'll give you like 4 or 5 minutes to do that. Um, and then in 4 or 5 minutes, we'll have Mr. Jeff come on and make some remarks. He just dropped the link, so you could press the link and just fill it out. Thank you.
So, and I think as people go ahead and do the survey, I could just go ahead and do my part, then we can be able to save time. Is that okay, Principal?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yep.
Right. Well, good evening and welcome to our Youth Center Dialogue on Safety and Prevention. On behalf of our organization, thank you to our leaders, families, partners, and community members for being here tonight. This dialogue is rooted in a simple but a powerful belief of prevention starts upstream. By listening to young people, equipping them with knowledge, and creating safe spaces for honest conversations, our youth are not just the future, they are our leaders today, and their voices matter in shaping safer, healthier communities. Thank you to our partners, Hindi STL, Hindi USA STL, Prevent Ed, Department of Transport, St. Louis St. Louis Area Violence Prevention Commission, IDAPI from Seattle, APAD from New Jersey, Youth Engagement Society from Texas, for working alongside with us. We appreciate our speakers and the youth who will have the courage to share their experiences and ideas. Tonight, it's about learning from one another, building understanding, and committing to action, or we say in Swahili, vitendo. We are grateful you choose to be part of this important conversation. Let's listen with one mind, lead with empathy, and work together to build a safer future for all. You're welcome. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Jeff, for the introduction. I hope everybody had a chance to fill out that quick survey. It's perfectly fine if you didn't know any information. If you knew all the information and you still tuned in, thank you so much. But during this discussion, you guys will learn about all those things. We talk all those questions asked in the survey, and any more any more questions you have, don't be afraid to shoot them out in the chat. Make sure to answer them. So, without further ado, let's get started for tonight. We have a video that we want to play, and then after that, we're gonna have our first speaker, Mr. Ethan Okech. He's gonna talk to us about roadway safety and traction. But before that, we have this upstream video that we would like to share with you all. Do you have any audio? There's no audio.
Can you hear? Is there audio?
No, there's no audio.
Okay, let's 1 second. Let's fix that.
Imagine a warm, sunny afternoon. Suddenly, you spot someone in the river being swept downstream and struggling to stay afloat. Without hesitation, you jump into the river and help the person to shore. As you help that person dry off, you hear another cry for help. Someone else is being swept downstream. Immediately, you jump into the water again and pull out this second person. This scenario continues all afternoon. As you pull someone safely to land, you have to jump back in and save someone else. Finally, you say, "I can't go on like this," and walk upstream to see what's happening. As you walk upstream, you warn other bystanders. "People are falling in the river. Please help them. Tell everyone you know." Finally, you find the problem. You notice a large hole in a bridge which is causing people to fall in. Something must be done. First, you put up a sign to warn others about the hole in the bridge. You warn anyone you see about the hole and ask them to help spread the word of caution. You even start offering classes to help people in the community learn how to swim, just in case they do fall in. Finally, you realize that to truly minimize the problem, you have to repair the bridge. You work with others in the community to close the hole. Occasionally, some people still fall in, but there are far fewer people that need to be saved.
Thank you for that video. Mr. Ethan O'Ketch, whenever you're ready, you can start.
All right. Um, Hello everyone. My name is Ethan O'Ketch. I'm a junior at Francis Howell Central High School, and today I'm going to be giving a presentation about traction and road safety. I'll go to the first slide. So, our first topic is traffic crashes in the United States. So, the U.S. Department of Transportation's National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, also known as the NHTSA, indicates that in the first 9 months of 2025, about 27,365 people died in traffic crashes. In Missouri, there were over 900 traffic deaths. So, wearing a seatbelt lowers your chance of dying in a crash by 45% for drivers and front seat passengers, and by 70% for buckle seat passengers. Buckle up every ride, every time. And this is just something small that a person could do when entering the car, because most people usually sometimes forget, or sometimes intentionally not buckle up, thinking it's more comfortable, or they're just driving in a short area, don't really need your seatbelt, but really you need your seatbelt everywhere you go, because you never know what could happen on the road, and it would save your life. It could save other people's lives, and it would just be a positive all overall everywhere. All right, we can go next slide. Oh,
Oh, sorry.
very good.
Can you see that?
Yeah. All right. So what is traction? So traction is teens taking action against traffic crashes. It is a program under the Missouri MoDOT, so the Department of Transportation here in Missouri. It empowers youth to take an active role in promoting safe driving habits and making positive change in their local Missouri community. And each summer, Traction hosts a convention that brings together students from schools across Missouri to bring leadership awareness and promote the importance of safe driving. And so, last summer, if you couldn't see in the picture, I actually I attended this camp, and I actually learned a lot. Learning from just how to prevent road crashes, how to like lower the chance of that, and how to be a safer driver on the road by learning a few tips and some other things that we're going to be learning about. I'll be talking about those in this presentation. And I think it was, oh, yeah. So here's the first one.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Go
You're
ahead.
good. So yeah, I think it was a pretty important thing to go to, and I really learned a lot from this, and we're going to be going over those things I learned in this presentation. Next slide. So first one is drowsy driving. So drowsy driving is extremely dangerous because it slows reaction time and reduces a driver's ability to focus and make quick decisions. When someone is tired, the brain can slip into micro sleeps where they briefly fall asleep without realizing it. Even a few seconds of inattention at the highway speeds can lead to serious or fatal crashes. Driving while exhausted can be just as risky as driving under the influence of alcohol. So even when you're coming home from work and you just are very tired and you can't even like really focus or you can't even like remember what you've passed by when driving um just driving home, that's a very bad, very fatal. That could be leading to something very fatal. So if you have to, pull over, get some rest, and be back on the road when you're fully alert and able to drive. As you can see on the third bullet, it said that being driving while exhausted is just as risky as driving under the influence of alcohol, which is also very it can also lead to other fatal accidents, fatal crashes, and things of that. Yeah. Next slide. The bullet effects. So this is in relating to physics as well, and so pretty much what it's saying is that the car can become very dangerous as if you go with a higher speed, objects in motion stays in motion, and so pretty much it if you are going faster and faster, the car becomes more of pretty much a bullet, and if it hits something, it will hit it at that force and speed. So everything, people in the car will could like really just be fatally injured and people in the crash. So the slide says the bullet effect in driving refers to how a vehicle becomes extremely dangerous at high speed, much like a bullet because of the force it carries. The faster a cars moving, the more destructive the impact will be in a crash. Even small increases in speed can greatly raise the risk of severe injury or death. This is why speeding is deadly and how slowing down can save lives. All right, next slide. We go to the next slide. No. Okay, so drunk driving. So driving when drunk is extremely dangerous because alcohol slows reaction time and impairs judgment and coordination. A drunk driver is more likely to make risky decisions, miss hazards, and lose control of the vehicle. This puts not only the driver but also passengers and other people on the road in serious danger. Drunk driving is a leading cause of fatal crashes and is completely preventable. So, if you've come from a place where you've been drinking and you're over the Missouri limits, which is most likely going to happen, since most people can't really just, oh, let me go quickly go measure my limit. Um, you don't really want to take that risk of going behind the wheel because it could lead to some bad crashes, some bad things happening on the road. And even as you heard, this is like comparable to sleepy drivers on the road because it slows reaction time and impairs judgment and coordination. So if somebody like stops immediately, just like stops in front of you, you can't really just stop because you're just judgment is slow, coordination slow, so you can't really stop. You won't be able to make the right thing to do. You won't be able to do the right thing and stop. So it could lead to a crash. But yeah, if you have to, you have to probably call somebody if you need to go home. Call somebody. You call Uber, um, and then they'll be able to get you to your destination safely without you causing any crashes. Next slide. So here are some stats that I found. 7% of Missouri high schools, which is 39,553, offer driving education during the school year, which I think is pretty cool, pretty good because as kids get into high school, kids are getting behind the wheel. We need to teach them about what they need to do in order to prevent crashes from happening, prevent small little mishaps on the road from happening, and just even buckling up the seatbelt. Some kids don't do that, and I think that just goes a long way. Missouri is one of the 13 states that does not require driver education, although This is a thing I highly encourage people taking driver education because there's some things that you may already know, but there's more that you can know. So you can just take in some more information, and then that could really prevent a lot of things from happening on the road. As a result, few high schools offer this vital training, making it difficult to prepare inexperienced drivers. Yeah. 15% of young Missouri drivers aged 16 to 20 account for 6% of all licensed drivers in the state, but accounted for 15% of the fatal crashes in 2023. I think this is before the phone down law, um, was implemented. So I think that now that that has been implemented, I feel like that's going to change that percentage by a lot. And I think just more kids get on the road, like I said, buckling up, more information like that, just taking that in, that would be very, very important. Traffic crashes are the leading cause for death for U.S. teens. Yeah, the traffic crashes, depending on the situation, they can very lead to some very, very tragic things. But all traffic crashes are never good. Um, they all lead they all lead to something bad. So we can all prevent them by buckling up, taking safety precautions before we drive. The fatal crash rate per driven mile for 16 to 19-year-olds is nearly 3 times the rate for drivers ages 20 and over. And that's another big thing. I think children probably should slow down when they're driving, as it can save their life pretty much. And how it just everything they do, just slowing down, they'll be able to crash as much, let's say. They'll be able to stop quicker, slow down, especially in an emergency. Yeah. Next slide. How it connects with mental health. So I connected the road safety and mental health things since they're pretty closely connected, and so each can directly influence the other. When mental health is affected, risk on the road increases in several ways. So we have stress and anxiety or anger can reduce focus and lead to risky behaviors such as speeding or aggressive driving. So if you're like stressed or anxious or even angry, causing road rage, it could take some time to cool down or just breathe or just, I guess you probably should not drive, and you should probably let somebody else drive so that you wouldn't be able to cause wreckage or anything to happen on the road, and then you can be able to drive again once you're back to your regular state of mind. Depression may slow down reaction time, lower alertness, and result in careless decision making. As you are depressed, there could be some thoughts that you could have in your head whilst driving that are not very, that's not something you would think about if you were, just on a regular day-to-day basis. So after coming back, after you probably sitting down, thinking about it, not taking too much time to think about it, and just get back on the road after you're ready. Sleeping problems, which can link to mental health issues, increased fatigue, which is a major cause of crashes. Yeah, sleeping problems, that's a very big one, as people who have don't have enough sleep can be drowsy on the road and not be able to comprehend the info that's being thrown at them. For example, somebody stopping, or a car passing a red light that they have when yours is green. It's also the big one. And substance use, often used as a coping mechanism for mental health struggles, significantly raises the risk of accidents. So yeah, substances alter the way your brain think, the way your brain works. So if you're using this whilst on the road, you won't be able to have the correct judgments, doing the correct just decisions that you would usually do, and it could really just change the way people could like drive, I guess. Yeah. And yeah, next slide. Oh, you have a video here that I wanted to watch about the road safety in different languages.
Is it really an accident if it could be prevented?
Kuwa mwangalifu barabarani utaokoa maisha.
Wewe mushifi utigane na adhimu.
Funga mkanda, weka simu chini.
Mettez votre ceinture, laissez votre téléphone.
Urore barabara nĩ ũkũhonokia muoyo.
Keep your eyes on the road so you can keep kids like me safe.
Now here's another video about traction. It was people killed on the road, ages 15 to 19 last year.
Were killed on Missouri roadways who are in your age range, 15 to 19. We will bring a 39th cap to place on the middle seat for the next person who will die on our roadways. What you saw outside wasn't real. It's close, but it's not real. It's a look into what happens when something like that takes place. For these 38 people, that situation was real. And unfortunately, they were the person laying on the pavement due to decisions that they made, due to choices that they made. These people here are brothers and sisters, boyfriends, girlfriends, sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters. And these people aren't around anymore. And their death is not just on them, it's on the people that care about them, the people that love them, their families, their friends, their loved ones. Everyone is affected by that death. Even the people who respond to that, the firemen, the EMS, healthcare personnel, they're all affected by the choices that people make.
Thank you everybody for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ethan. I was at Traction, I think for 3 years, and the second day is always like the second morning is always very emotional. Just seeing how many people our age lost their lives to road crashes, and knowing that it could have been prevented. I feel like that's one of the biggest things. People dying and knowing that their death could have been prevented. Whether it's substance abuse or road crashes, there's a lot of things that could have been prevented. Even substance abuse, especially. So our next speaker is Abigail Sancales. She's going to be talking about substance abuse and how to prevent that while on the roads. Abigail, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Hello everyone. My name is Abigail Sancales. I'm a 10th grade student that attends Fort Zumwalt East High, and today I'm going to be talking about substance use disorder. So the first thing I want to do in sharing this is describe in detail what substance use disorder is. So substance use disorder, or SUD, is basically when somebody may be using or overusing specifically harmful substances such as drugs and or alcohol. This includes like illegal drugs and both prescription medications if they are taken outside of what the recommended dosage is. And then the effects of this can affect not only their physical health, but as well as their mental health, performance in both school and work and affect the relationships that they have. It definitely takes a toll on their day-to-day life. And because it is an addiction, it can make it difficult to stop and kind of like distance themselves away from that. So it's very important that you are able to identify it early so that you can stop it from getting to a further point. So why it matters. So substance use affects health and safety for both the body and the brain, as I mentioned earlier. And when we are talking about the brain, it's very important that we know that the brain does not, especially the frontal cortex, does not fully develop until you're 25. So when we're seeing teenagers overusing and overdosing on these things due to substance use disorder, it's really affecting them, really affecting their development and how they should be able to perform in school or work. They won't be able to perform at that max capacity. So over here we see a graph that has basically shows the different types of drug overdose deaths that have happened since 2000 to 2022. And we definitely see, I feel like a lot of people know about this drug, that fentanyl had a spike in the year of 2014. And we see here the most important thing to point out besides that is the drop in heroin that happened. And those two kind of coincide with each other. So fentanyl is a synthetic drug, so it doesn't require the same growing methods that heroin does because it does come from the poppy plant. So because it doesn't have to grow and they still get a very they still get a very good high from fentanyl. That's what made it so much more popular than heroin. That way you don't have to wait for it to grow. You could just make it whenever you want and mix it in with other drugs to give that same really high as like heroin might be able to give, since it's a very potent drug as well. So yeah, awareness of this and the deaths and the lives that has claimed is very important so that we can prevent more people from dying to SUD and help support people who are going through it right now. Okay, so to get more into like the drugs part of it, I want to talk specifically about and lay out for you guys what the difference between stimulants and depressants might be. So, stimulants are these are the type of drugs that are going to increase your energy and your alertness. So you're going to be a lot more active and like maybe even jittery when you have stimulants. Some examples of this are caffeine, nicotine, and some prescription drugs. So the effects of this would be like increased heart rate, blood pressure, and like feeling like you have anxiety. Depressants are more of like making you feel or slow down your reaction time and stuff like that. It slows down your CNS, your central nerve system, which is your brain and your spinal cord. So things like alcohol, as well as some other prescription drugs, are going to slow you down. And like that's the biggest reason why drinking and driving is not good. As Ethan said earlier, when you are drunk and you're driving, your central nervous system, your brain is not as active as it should be. So you're not going to be able to make those fast, life-saving decisions that you're going to need when you're on a road that can be so unpredictable, especially at nighttime and stuff like that. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is caffeine. Unlike known to a lot of people, caffeine is a drug. It is a stimulant, as I mentioned earlier. Caffeine is, while it being a drug, it is very widely used throughout the entirety of the United States and even the world. It increases alertness as we see, a lot of teachers drinking it to, stay awake or wake themselves up, or people drinking it before they get on the road after a long day of work. Um, but caffeine is found in coffee, tea, soda, and energy drinks. Energy drinks are a very big topic right now. I know there has been a rise in people, especially teenagers, drinking energy drinks such as Alani, Monster, Red Bull, all of these things that really do take uh, a toll on your health. I know personally, a lot of people at my school have been drinking energy drinks, and one girl who I'm friends with had to get a surgery done because of the amount of like caffeine that she's been consuming. A lot of them drinking like Alani's, one a day or even more to keep themselves up. But it's just like any other drug, and it's not good for you to be overtaking it. It has the same tendencies or withdrawal symptoms as you would have with any other drug. So you're going to feel like you need it. You're going to feel irritable. You're going to have fatigue. All these things, all these same reactions, just to any other type of drug. Um, and then over here we can see, oh yeah, okay. And then the next thing I want to talk about is alcohol. So, alcohol is a depressant drug that, again, like slows down the nervous system. So you're not going to be have like quick responding or anything like that. Um, your your judgment is not going to be as well, and your coordination skills are going to be off, which is why like a lot of times if someone gets pulled over and they're suspected of drinking, officers are going to make them try and walk on a straight line to like see if their coordination is on par, um, and like their reaction time to like almost falling over and stuff like that. Yeah, and then all of those together, like they do increase the risk when driving. If you're not able to make those quick decisions, then it could really be the difference between life and death. And it's very important that we keep that in mind whenever we are deciding to go on the road. So, long use or heavy use can cause liver disease. You're going to be overworking your liver. A lot, and then it could also cause heart problems and addiction, as well as mental health issues if you take it all the time. Um, Even though it is like widely, just like caffeine, socially accepted, it does still have very powerful effects on both the mind and the body. So it's very important that whenever we are deciding to drink, that it's not bad to drink if you're of age, but make sure that you're just not consuming too much, and then also that you're not driving when you're drunk. Um, yeah.
That means they brought two moving trucks and things from Port Arthur. At the time,
Marijuana.
this was going
So
into construction.
in Missouri specifically, and like St. Louis, marijuana is a big like kind of issue that we have. A lot of people like to indulge in it. And marijuana is a drug that's made from the cannabis plant, and it affects the brain and body. And it's an active ingredient. THC alters mood, memory, and perception. THC is gonna bond to a receptor in the brain, and it's going to kind of like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna like allow for more dopamine to be held in the brain. That way you get your high, and you feel really good in the moment. But then, the problem with that is you're gonna depend on more and more and more to be and feel the same high, which is obviously not good for your mind or your body. So regular use can affect brain development, mental health, and lead to dependence and or addiction. So yeah, as I was talking about earlier, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into the science behind addiction. So addiction is actually a brain disease. You may not think that, but it really is. When you are using drugs, you're changing the way that your brain was before. I went to this program over during the fall called Teen Institute or TI with Prevent Ed. And basically, while we were there, I got to lead a activity and talk about the dendrites and all of the axon terminals that are in the brain. And one thing that we learned while we were there, or I learned, was that whenever you are taking drugs, you're going to get more dendrites and you're going to get more axon terminals. Those are like they receive signals. And those signals are going to like ask you to get more of the drug so that way you can be able to continue to you know get the same high. So once your brain gets that taste of that amount of dopamine, it's going to keep on wanting it. However, you're gonna build a tolerance to it. That's why we hear a lot of people say they have like a high tolerance to alcohol. Once you start building a tolerance, and you get deeper and deeper, that's when you're gonna start building an addiction, and stuff like that. So the highest risk for developing addiction occurs when drug use begins in early adolescence. And this is because, as mentioned before, like the brain is not fully developed. And once they get you at a young age, it's very hard for you to stop since you've been doing it technically like for a long time by that point, once you get to an adult. So yeah. Um, Substance use disorder is mainly like tied with mental health issues. So one way to like kind of see if you're about to go down that path is to look for these signs: persistent sadness or having a low mood, or having excessive fears about or worries in your life, as well as extreme mood changes, such as like being really happy at one point and then being really sad the next. Spotting these signs are very crucial in preventing you from going to the substance in the first place. So, prevention, as I said before, starts with education, such as the Teen Institute program. Really a great program for any kid to go through in high school kids to go to. That way they can be able to learn more about all types of stuff, all types of substances and the dangers that come behind that, as well as having supportive like systems around them, friends, family, teachers, counselors, anything, just feeling like you have people there to back you up if anything did happen to go wrong. And then also feeling like you have a safe environment, open communication, and building confidence as well as decision making skills. That way, if you are put in a situation where you are being peer pressured to take something, that you're able to stand up and advocate for yourself. And then for the protective factors, there's also, positive friendships, making sure you have those, and trusted adults. Another program that TI or that Prevent Ed has is, I think it's called Teen Mental Health First Aid. So a lot of kids are gonna end up taking, I know in my school we have to take it in 10th grade anyway, but I took it before and I'm taking it again this year. But I took it before, and basically what Teen Mental Health First Aid does is they teach you a lot about mental health, but then they always emphasize, like near the end, they always emphasize that you have 5 adults that you can name, that you can trust, that if anything in your life is not feeling the way that it should, or you're not feeling the way that you should, that you can go to one of those 5 adults and tell them about what's going on in your life so that you can stay safe and be okay. And I would recommend that for anyone, really, just to make sure that, they have people that they trust that they can go to with information like that. And then making sure you have extracurriculars, that you keep yourself busy, involved in the community. And then also just having clear goals for like what you want your future life to be. That way, you know, like I want to do this, and doing drugs are going to affect me from being able to achieve what I want and stuff like that. So, for seeking help, it's very important that if you are already in a situation where you need to get help, that you find support from a crisis line called 988, which you can use, or if like it in a real situation, and then call 911 if someone else you know or you yourself are in immediate danger. And then also if you're not quite having a crisis yet, it's still very important that you reach out to like a school counselor, therapist, trusted adult again, or a doctor to help you yourself be able to, you know, get better and not have to reach that point of having a crisis. Um, there's also the National Alliance on Mental Health, or NAMI, which also offers education and support, or you can text hello to that number on there for the crisis text line. It's very important that you don't feel like you're weak for searching or seeking for help. That is probably one of the strongest things that you can do to make sure that you yourself get better from substance use disorder, and so that you can be able to live the life that you want to have. And yeah, this is the program that I talked about earlier, mental health first aid training. It's for ages 14 to 18 years old. There's both for youth and adult. I think that both youth and adult need to learn. Adults can be able to look for it in their kids or even in themselves or their friends as well, which is still important. We want to make sure that we keep each other safe and we keep each other, you know, together, and support each other. And yeah, so some ways that you can like maintain your mental health before it starts to, you know, deteriorate is you can stay physically active, you know, being in a sport, not necessarily even having to be in a sport, but just like going outside for a walk a day, maybe going to the gym, like eating healthy. Those types of things are the types of things that are going to keep you in your best state as well. We know that exercising releases endorphins that gives you that natural high. Instead of having to take a drug to give you a high, you're going to be able to get your natural high from eating healthy and getting good sleep and exercising. Let's make mental health a priority. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Abigail. I know it's not just me that learned a lot from that. I'm pretty sure everybody else had something to take away. What you're talking about is very important. Mental health, substance abuse, one thing is another, and then next thing you know it, somebody you love or somebody that loves you is not with you anymore. So I feel like it takes a lot of selflessness and a lot of courage just to be able to pick up that phone. But if it, no matter what, if it can save your life, I think it's worth the chance of doing. So next, we're gonna have a little 4-minute video from Kara Filler. It's her personal story on safety prevention and her resilience through her journey. And then after that, we'll have the panel. But first, let's get the video.
I don't know about the audio.
Can we get some audio? We don't have any audio on the video.
Poster with how we were twirling, and they remember seeing spark.
Can you hear now?
Yes, we can hear now.
And all that kind of stuff. And then I woke up. It couldn't have been too long after that with them yelling at me, you know, mom, please wake up, please wake up. I remember my husband coming up to the side of my door saying, Carrie, are you okay? And at that point, like the resolve that I had built up, it's like when I heard his voice, I like let it go for a minute and I said, it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. The first impact from the front of the car, you know, and it just kind of pushed everything up into me. But then that second impact in the side of my door pushed me over against the console. And then those are the things that broke my pelvis and crushed my lower legs. Pieces of my car had actually like embedded themselves into my lower legs. So just trying to get them free took forever. It was nearly an hour. My three worst and the ones that give me my partial disabilities today are my pelvis and then both of my lower legs and ankles. My pelvis I've had 3 surgeries on and I have metal in there and it's fused. And then my lower legs I've had 9 surgeries on total and they are fused also. So those 3 joints don't move anymore and they're definitely the ones that cause me the most difficulty. For having a mind that is so active all the time and being able to just get up and do whatever you want to. I mean, I had no limitations before all this happened. If I wanted to go do something, I was just able to do it, whether it was physically or mentally. Oh, wearing my seatbelt and all 3 of us, it's a huge part of why we are here today. Because looking at the images of our car, I mean, you can't believe that anybody even came out of that alive. I mean, that was a devastating car crash and it just took an enormous amount of time for them to put me back together so that I could hopefully get up and walk again. I learned I had survivor's guilt and I'd heard of it before, but I just had no concept of what that felt like. And I did not cause this crash. I mean, that night we were doing everything right, everything, and it still happened. And that man lost his life. And I feel bad for him because I don't know why he passed away and I didn't. I couldn't understand it, I guess, because you never think it's going to happen to you, even though you know it can. When you find yourself in that moment where either you're going to drive distracted or if you see someone else drive distracted, is remember that you're in control. You have a choice on whether you're going to proceed with that or if you're going to take a step back and evaluate your situation and say, you know what, I don't think this is the best idea right now, and maybe I should call somebody, because there is no harm in that at all. I'm telling, like, if it's a teen, your parents are not going to be upset with you if you call and say, you know what, this is what I did tonight, and I really don't think it's safe for me to drive. Can you please come pick me up? I just couldn't, I could not get the word accident even to come out of my mouth because it wasn't an accident. Someone made a bad decision that night that resulted in me having permanent disabilities and the loss of his life. And it's a crash. It was, an accident is something that you don't intend to do. And when you are distracted while you're driving, you're doing that on purpose and you cause something very devastating to happen.
So that was Kara Filler. Whenever we go to Traction, she's one of the guest speakers that always present her stories, always so inspiring. Notice how she said she couldn't get the word accident to come out of her mouth because it wasn't an accident, it was a crash. Accidents are things that can be prevented. But when you're driving on the road and you're drunk, you have substances in you, you're not setting yourself up for success anyway. So furthering the program, I would like to introduce Sebastian as our moderator for the panelist, for the panel that we're going to have. If you have any questions during the panel, feel free to type them in the chat. Make sure Sebastian or one of the panelists is able to answer your question. But without further ado, Sebastian, take the stage.
Greenspan, thank you so much. I think there's a lot of information for us to process as students, as parents, but it can get better than that in terms of us being in a position where we are able to prevent all of these studies coming up. then we can stop using the word accident unnecessarily. Now we have a very good panel today. We have Angela, Sebastian, and Mishabo. So what I'll do, I'll jump straight up to the questions that we had received from people, and I'll ask them to respond to those questions. And then after that, we'll go back to the questions that have been put in the chat. So let's get to the... I don't know if Mishabo is here today. Is he?
Yeah, I'm here, right here.
Thank you. Good to hear from you. Okay, the first question is actually coming to you. My first question for you. And the question is put it this way. Why do we normalize risky behavior like speeding, vaping, or driving distracted, but shame people in who ask for help in mental health? How would you respond to that?
Yeah, it's a really weird thing to say because both of those things result in dangerous things. Risky behaviors like speeding, vaping, driving distracted, those are seen as normal things that anyone does, while mental health struggles are seen as something to be ashamed of, something to hide away from the world, which is why we treat them as two different things even though they're the same thing. It's not a good thing and something that we should strive to change because at the end of the day, they both may result in the death of someone.
Thank you. If you want to go back and just introduce yourself, tell them who you are. That's a very knowledgeable answer. That way they also understand your background and just how many, track you've been to track before. Just in your name and grade. That way they can know what kind of team we have tonight.
Sorry about that. My name is Mishabo Madiga. I'm a junior at Fort Zumwalt East, and I've been to one traction conference.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that answer. That's a beautiful answer. The next one goes to Angela, and she'll introduce herself as she answers this question. If your best friend got into a car with a driver who had been drinking or high, what would you actually stop you, from speaking up, and how do we change that?
Hi, my name is Angela Mahenio. I go to Westminster Christian Academy, and I am in 10th grade. And how I would answer this question is, to be honest, most of the time, whenever things like those happen, serious things, it's always just what happened that night. You were doing something that you shouldn't have done, and your friend was doing something that they shouldn't have done. So with that, it's just the insane guilt and shame that, oh, when my parents find out, I'm gonna get in so much trouble and everything. So they just hesitate. But it's really not something you should hesitate to go and reach out and ask for help, just like Abigail was saying in her presentation, because the split second that you waste hesitating could be a second saved in saving that person's life, especially.
Thank you very much. I'll shoot this second question to you too, given that you're still on that line of answering those questions, and it goes to social media glamourizes drugs, alcohol, and reckless driving. How much of our decisions making is truly ours versus what we see online?
So social media does play a big part in how we choose to act, since it is something that we are being influenced by our peers. Our peers do have a very big hold on us. The people that we hang out with affect the decisions we make. So in that way, it is our fault. We can't remove like personal responsibility from us doing those things, but social media does play a big part in it. It's just whether we'd make the decision to proceed with it as well. So that's why it's always great to have people that can hold you accountable for what you're doing and have good, strong morals to prevent you from doing those things, such as drugs and doing alcohol. Because if you're in that type of social crowd, you are more drawn to it, as well as seeing in social media too.
Thank you so much. I know we have more panelists that I'll come to here that I would like to introduce. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, I think I was out a little bit. Sorry. I know we have other panelists here that I'll go ahead and introduce, but let me ask this question, then I'll invite them. They're from our other Hindu community and other groups that we had invited today. So I'll go to question number 4, and I'll ask the panelist to introduce himself before I bring the other panelists that we have today. And this goes to Sebastian. Should teens be held legally accountable for encouraging dangerous behavior like filming, reckless driving, or posting substance use online? Posting substance use online. So go ahead, Sebastian.
I'm Sebastian Gaito. I'm a freshman at Chaminade College Prep, and I've been to one traction meeting and one prevent ed meeting. I believe that to a certain extent, teens should be held accountable for promoting dangerous driving and drug promotion, because teens look up to people they see as themselves. So if I think something's cool because I see this guy same age as me doing it, I'll more likely lean towards doing something like that. And it's not okay if we have people with the ability to influence the masses go ahead and promote things that can hurt them. And we should have a certain level of accountability for what we show and others to do.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a good answer, guys. That's pretty good. Let's take. Let me take 2 questions, then I'll bring the other panelists here.
What did we drop to? Sebastian?
Oh, sorry. I was talking. I don't know. Somehow I went mute. I apologize. Sorry. I said let's jump to 2 questions. Then after that, I'll bring my other panelists. That way, they can also give us their perspective in terms of how they view it from their different community. You do realize that we are composed of a very big group in terms of age and also different communities. So we'll go to this 2 more questions, then I'll bring the other group here, the other panelists that we have here, so that they can give us a different swing of how they see this thing. And this other question now goes to Angela. Why is mental health treated as a personal weakness instead of a safety issue, just like drunk driving or not wearing a seatbelt? And I think that's for Sebastian. That question is for Sebastian. I'll come for you, Angela. So Sebastian, why is mental health treated like a personal weakness instead of a safety issue, just like drunk driving or not wearing a safety belt?
Well, in the young community of today, what we see as normal, it doesn't necessarily mean it's good or safe. We genuinely see reaching out for help as something, some people would see it as weak or weird to confront deeper issues within yourself. But that's actually not weird or weak. And it's actually very brave and strong of people to do. Wearing seatbelts and addressing mental health issues are things that we don't see done enough in our community today, because people, well, think about it, putting on a seatbelt, you don't necessarily see that as cool, or drinking while completely sober and not risking it at all. That's not seen as cool either. Drunk driving might not necessarily come off as cool, but drinking does to a lot of people. And a lot of people transport themselves by driving. So the act of driving while intoxicated is something that happens a lot because people think drinking is cool. But people don't think calling their parents and asking them for a ride home is cool. That's why they take the risk, because they want to come off as not the weird guy that called their mom to pick them up from a party. I think that we need to make it more common to call people to make the safer choice rather than the cool choice, because the safer choice keeps people alive. Thank you. That's it.
Good answer, Sebastian. Angela, many teens say that stress, trauma, or pressure leads them to substance use. Are schools and families doing enough to address the root cause?
I do agree with the fact that stress, trauma, and pressure does hold a role in what a teen decides to do in taking drugs and alcohol. But I do think that in our community, there are always um things that help guide us. There's not that much information put out that can help prevent it. Because when I went to Traction and when I also went to Prevent Ed, they gave me a lot of good presentations that I think a lot of teens would help from, but that's not something we usually have access to. Most of the time, it's just given in one class and then that's it. You take it one class out of the whole high school year and then you don't learn much from it afterwards. So just taking it more seriously and posting out little flyers and things like that, having little posts, I think that can help. But then also at home, making sure that you are able, like you were in a comfortable mental health position and all of those things can also help the teen themselves. But doing those little things and bringing out more awareness can also help as a guide for teens.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And now that invites me to invite another twist, just so we can hear from a different group in terms of the stuff that we have put across. And these are also the two teens from the Hindi Society that we have today. And I will also want to hear their take on the issues that we are doing. And I'll start off with Tushan. Tushan, if you would please say hello to us and tell us what you think based on the questions that we have answered in the presentations and how your community is handling this issue of mental health and safe driving.
Well, I would like to say thank you for having me and this Hindi USA community here. My name is Tushan Khatri. I am a junior at Lafayette High School this year. And from what we have talked about and the presentations, I feel like this community has done a great job at simplifying to an extent of what issues are present in daily lives. So, for the example of driving while intoxicated, it is a major problem and it is extremely dangerous to teens and it is very common. So, that was a good point. And I like all the questions that we have answered. And yeah, I especially like the presentation about drug abuse, as that is a rising problem in not only high schools, but entire states. And those do cause more problems on the road for other.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'll come back to you with another question. Now I invite, I think, how do you say it? Munasi? And also tell us some of the things that your Hindi community is doing in regards to this issue of drunk driving and mental health. Welcome. Say hello to us.
Yeah, I feel that our community is like kind of working very nicely in like managing all of that stuff. And then I would also like to say that the presentations we talked about today and the questions we are answering, they were really on point and very straightforward. And I also like how they mentioned like speeding is also a cause of crashes, because that is really real when it comes to teen driving. And then I also liked how they mentioned caffeine is not good for your health and it acts like a drug. So that is true. Yeah, so that's the point.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll go back to our questions for the panelists. I think time is running out, but we'll try and see if we can slide in a few more questions and see what your put is going to be for the Hindi Society also. But we'll jump into a few more questions here that we can, if we can get Sebastian and Angela and the panelists to step in, and also Mishabo. And the next question goes to Mishabo, if you're still there with us. What's more dangerous for teens today, impaired driving or untreated mental health? and why aren't we talking about them together?
Well, I did a quick Google search right before you asked me this question, and it shows that 48,000 people died from suicide, while 39,000 died from 39,000 died from car crashes. Obviously, from the numbers, we can tell that one causes more death than the other, but what we don't look at is that intersection of people dying from mental health issues on the road. It's not a one thing is greater than the other. It's more of a, it's about addressing that intersection that causes people to spiral into a mental disarray and to get on the road and then to cause something to happen, to maybe lose their life or lose the life of others. And we don't talk about it because one of them is a behavioral problem. Somebody's going out, somebody's drinking, somebody's driving, while the other one is a private issue, something that they should keep to themselves, something that society doesn't really want to think about and look at. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a pretty good deep answer that your Google must have done you right. That shows me that you've been doing some good research and you're pretty involved in this activity. Appreciate that answer. The next one goes to Sebastian. Sebastian, if you knew your mental health was affecting your ability to drive safely, would you stop driving or keep quiet to avoid judgment?
Personally, from the adults that have raised me and from what I've learned from all these things, I think I would be able to make the strong choice of not driving or not making whatever decision while I'm mentally impaired. But I do know from what I've learned that a lot of people are afraid to make that step and are afraid to ask that one adult for help that could have made the big difference. That a lot of deaths have come from maybe suicide, maybe impaired driving, and lots of other things because people were afraid to make the step and ask for help. Well, what this meeting's purpose is that we want that people to leave this meeting being able to ask for that help or being able to be that help for somebody else. And we all hope that we're not the person behind the wheel, but sometimes we need to take a look at ourselves and make sure we're in the right headspace. Thank you.
God, this is great. Greenspan, is there traction for adults? I think that's what we want after this. I think we'll also like to get that traction thing for adults. You guys are very, very informative in this thing. So if there is one, please let us know. We can make arrangements for the adults to attend one too. The next question goes to Angela. And after Angela, I would like to hear someone from the Hindi USA also give a perspective on this one. How do cultural expectations, family responsibilities, or immigration stress shape how young people cope with pressure and risk? You can add how the connection, with V4A friends has helped you.
Yes. So, I think that since me personally, I grew up in a household where we have expressed our feelings, and they have taken me to programs that like the teen mental health first aid, prevent ed, traction, and all those things that could help me be more in tune with my emotions and understand how my emotions can affect others. But for some people, that might not be the case since they might see their parents doing the same thing, or their parents might be more stricter on them, so they're not really allowed to express their emotions as much. So it does have a big effect on how they do things as their outlet, which going on a high speed might be the way that they release their anger or their emotions, but that's not the best coping mechanism, as Abigail was saying before. And I think it really does shape how you grow up and however your family does things and the people you surround yourself with. I think that really does shape how you express yourself and also cope with things. But also taking programs like teen mental health first aid and all those things can really help you broaden your understanding of what you might need to do and what might be a better way of dealing with those things for yourself.
Thank you very much. And I'll invite maybe one person from the in the USA. Tushan, Mnashi, if you want to add something in terms of how your community and your society has helped you in terms of shaping this, and if you have something you can add to that, any of you.
Yeah. So I liked a few points that Angela said about culture really affects how you grow up and what kind of person you become. So I would say personally in our community, mental health isn't an issue that's very openly talked about or easily communicated. And that could just be because of culture before us. And I feel like family responsibilities are definitely different in our community. And I feel like one benefit would be to normalize talking about mental health issues, as that would, with time, of course, would allow teens and children in our community to talk more openly about it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we'll go to we are almost done here. Guys, just give me another 5-10 minutes and we'll be done. And this next question comes to you, Sebastian. What advice would you give immigrants' parents to better understand their children? And what advices would you give to immigrant youth to understand their parents? And while you're answering that, you can also tell us this final part of it. Now we'll put that for Mishabo. So go ahead and answer that for me.
All right. I'd like to say both of these groups grew up in very different times. A lot has happened through the past decades or so. So they've probably grown up through a bunch of different things. And referring to mental health, one of the major topics today, from what I've talked to my parents about, mental health has been seen as not as high, only has become a topic that we speak about today. When they were kids, mental health wasn't spoken about as much or seen as a real problem. Now we have the intelligence to see that maybe not everybody's doing as well as other people, and maybe not everybody is feeling the same as other people. So if our parents don't address mental health with the same urgency as we do, we have to understand that maybe they haven't grown up seeing about it or talking about it. They've gone through tougher times without the mental health aspect of things. So they're like, why can't you? But that's not a good argument. I say my advice to the adults would be to just speak to your children, because speaking can clear up a lot of things. There's a lot of things that you can clear up by speaking to the person you're going through a time with. And my advice to the youth would be to try and help them understand what you're going through. Try and make sure they know what you know so that it can be apparent on both sides. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian. All right, and I'll shoot this to Mishabo if you're there. And my question for you, Mishabo, is, has attending Traction, TI Institute, and Teen Mental Health first aid class transformed life?
Yeah, it definitely has for me. Just attending everything, going to those day-long conventions where we were learning about car accidents, just the dangers of not wearing your seatbelt. It just really enforced to me everything about being safe on the road. I'll be honest, before the traction thing, I didn't wear my seatbelt. I do things like, like put it on, but then just sit on the thing because I just really didn't want to buckle in my seatbelt, or I just not put it on at all. But ever since that convention, the first thing that I do when I get in the car is put on that seatbelt, because things like the missile effect that you learned, it really just scares you straight, to be honest.
Thank you. All right, and one very final question here that I have that has been directed to you, Sebastian, and I'll give you guys, a final moment to give us a summary. And it says, if students were in charge of designing solutions for road safety, substance abuse, and mental health, what would adults need to stop doing and start doing?
I'm sorry, could you ask that question again? I didn't catch it.
Sorry. It says, if students were in charge of designing solutions for road safety, substance abuse, and mental health, what would adults need to stop doing, and what would adults need to stop doing and start doing, and what would you advise them to start doing?
Well, I'd say most students today, whether or not they see it, they look up to their parents or copy how they act. And they look up to the adults in their lives, and whether or not they realize they're doing it, they copy what they do. So if they see their mom on the phone driving, or see their dad eating while driving, well, they might be like, oh, this isn't bad. Or they see their dad and mom not address mental health as much as others in the current society. They'll be like, oh, this isn't as big as a problem as everybody says. But it is. Just because somebody in your life that you trust and see as good does something doesn't necessarily mean it's right. What I'm trying to say is that we all need to understand that we adults as well as the youth are all learning about all these different topics as well, and we all need each other's help on it, and we can all do it together if we just try. That's why TI, Prevent Ed, and Traction are there. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna give you guys each about a minute or so, and if there's anything that you didn't get a chance to answer as you do that, and also while you're doing that, tell these kids who have no access to either friends or parents, if you don't have a friend that you think you can talk to, what they should do. While you're doing that, I think everybody has a twist in terms of how you can get this message out. So if you didn't get a chance to say something or an answer that you have in terms of what you think people should know in terms of mental health and safe driving. So I'll start off with Angela. This is your final part. Just, pitch out and tell us something that you think you didn't get a chance to put across. And then after that, we'll go to...
Just like I said in the chat, I'll like reiterate it so then if people aren't looking at the chat, they can also hear. But if your child is not as close to you, or if you are not as close with your parent, there are always other people and other sources you can rely on. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your friends, there's that 988 number that Abby was mentioning. There is that 74171 number as well. And there are always there's teachers, counselors, there's your relatives, and just learning to find somebody that you can trust enough to lean on. Nobody will hate you for just expressing who you are and what you are feeling and what you are dealing with, because it's a better outlet for you to express those feelings to someone else than for you to take drastic measures because you are unable to carry that stress by yourself. So, yeah, and for the parents who are struggling with that, just making sure you're making your home a safe space for your teens, being open with them and like being able to have those discussions, whether they might think that it's stupid or it might be dorky. It makes it all the better that you're having them and addressing those things in the first place to show how much you care and to show that you notice as well.
Thank you very much. Ethan, I give you a minute to kind of tie something up that we missed out.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Ethan. Good presenter.
I think something. Wait, what was the question again? If you don't mind me asking.
It's a final part, something you think you can summarize and add up. Maybe you have a minute, so something they can know, not necessarily a question. If there's something we missed that you think it should come across.
I don't think anything is something that you missed, but really there's one thing that like I really, for something to take home is I think just buckle up, phone down. I know it's the traction motto. It really does go a long way. Even just buckling up really and phone down everything. All of that can prevent many crashes, many just traffic. There's many things that like could be happening in traffic that you could stop. For example, somebody stopping in front of you abruptly, someone in the red light coming this way, and you have a green light. Things like that. If you had your phone in your hand, you wouldn't be able to stop. You wouldn't be able to react on time. So these small little things go a very long way in your life and in other people's lives.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hanil from Hindi USA, if you'd like to say something, final part on this one. If you're still there.
Yes. I would just like to say I like all the topics that was covered. I did learn a lot from this. And I think one thing that we all need to take home is that just for teens to know that it really is okay with mental health issues and be going through things. And it's really important to find someone or somewhere that you can let those feelings out to, because it will help you and it'll help save other people if it becomes a problem like driving or you take it out in other ways.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Abigail.
So I guess what I wanted to kind of like interject on the last question, panelist question that Sebastian answered really well and kind of like build off of that. I think like as he said that parents like are role models for their kids, like kids look up to them a lot. And I just wanted to like quickly say something like coming from a Kenyan like area and like being in having all these barbecues and stuff, something that we normally do. I know that's kind of like tradition to also bring like drinks there for the parents and stuff like that. And I think that at times, sometimes the drinking can get a little bit out of hand at these events, these barbecues, these functions. And I think that, and most of the time, the parents have to drive their kids back home after going there. So I think maybe just, as a parent, if you're going to the function, or make sure that you are not, drinking too much alcohol, because you want to make sure that you're driving your kids home safely, as well as making sure that when the kids are around, that you're not like consuming alcohol right in front of them and like stuff like that, just trying to make sure that you're keeping the area around the kids in as pure of an environment as they can be, and just making sure that your kids get home safely just as well as yourself.
Abigail, thank you. I mean, that's a good call out. And and I know how you quoted it so nicely, but I think you are calling us out in a way. We had you. So appreciate it. The message got out there. Sebastian, go ahead and make your final part before we go to Michelle.
Well, in conclusion, I think that we cannot continue to let risky behavior be seen as something that's okay to do, and shame people that are vulnerable enough to come out about things like mental health, substance abuse, and just unsafe choices in general. All of us are connected, and when some of us hurt, all of us hurt. We're all a part of a greater community, and these are some problems taking away from our community and even taking lives away from our community. And some people might not see these things as such a big issue, but I think we need to raise awareness, because once people know it's a problem, they can stop the problem. So I think we should treat mental health and driving safety as not a weakness, but something that we can fix. And that's it for me. Thank you.
All right, the next one is the final part, also parting for, how do you say your name? Help us say your name too, Michelle. How do you say it?
Yeah, you said it right, Mishaba.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my last takeaway was you can only ever really control what you do on the roads. On roads like Grand Boulevard or Page, there's thousands of cars that drive by, but you're only truly controlling one car. And just one question, would you not want to maximize the chances of you surviving? Because we never really know what's gonna happen when you get in that car. You never know if there's a drunk driver, there's somebody depressed, anyone that's just not feeling the best. And would you really not want to maximize your chances by just simply taking a second or two to buckle your phone and no, what? To buckle your belt and put your phone down?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Munasi, now you're the last one.
Yeah, I would like to say that we need to remember some of the things that we should keep ourselves focused in our life, and then don't get influenced what we see on social media, because some of the stuff is real and then some of that is not really, like, it doesn't help in shaping your life. And I want to say that we should remember how we can maintain our future and how we like take care of how to drive or how to keep ourselves healthy so that we can focus on our mental health and we don't suffer from a lot of stuff or health issues.
I think we can also ask Jaden to say something. He was also a part of the Traction and TI group, but he didn't have a panel section, but he was also a very important part of the process.
Perfect. He can say something. I was getting ready to call him. Go ahead.
Thank you, Sebastian, for this opportunity. My name is Jaden Maura. I am a sophomore at Parkway Central High School. Here, I just wanted to talk and emphasize about the driving, especially the missile effect. It's going to be hard for me to say, but recently, like on Sunday night, a student at my school had died due to a car crash. And I just want to like point out that, like, please be careful on the roads. Be like aware of your surroundings. Don't fall asleep while driving, and don't drink while driving. Make sure you always wear your seatbelt and everything. Going off what Ethan said in his discussion, he said something about you may know about driving, but there's still a lot more to learn. It's really similar to what my mother said when I first started driving. She always told me that I'm always going to be a learner. I don't know it all when I'm driving. There's still a lot for me to know. We're all learners, no matter if you have a permit or a license, no matter if you have years and years of experience. Just know that we're all still learners, and there's still like a lot for us to learn. And yeah, I also about the mental health, because I was also an attendee at TI, Teen Institute. To answer, like Angela has already answered the question, but to also like add on to that question, me personally, I'm also like an average teen where I feel like speaking out about my feelings is pretty like, like I have so much pride that I can't like speak to my feelings because I feel like people will judge me. So I just, keep stuff to myself. And I really don't have the confidence to talk to others about it. But there are very important people that I do talk about, like people my age mates, including Ethan, Abigail. There's also grown-ups I talk to, like Sebastian and Jeff. There are very great people. Like I've listened and talked to both of them. I got very good points from them. And then also, you can also make friends with your counselors. For the people in high school, make friends with your counselors and teachers because they will really help you a lot. And that's it for me to say.
My God, that's awesome. That's a good testimony in itself, and just showing people how important it is for you guys that have attended these lessons and these seminars that we put across during summertime, and also the true story that you give about somebody in your school. It just makes us understand and know that this is real. It is happening every day. And I think something you pointed out, there is not an expert on the road. You're not driving all the cars. Just like you said, your mom told you you're a learner, you'll always be one. That is a true statement, and that is true. Is there a Priscilla Washira Priscilla or Shira, if you want to say something, I know you attended that and you'd like to say something. I think it's important that I give you a chance, given that you had attended all these things and, a minute to say hello and say something.
Priscilla just stepped out. She is joining another meeting, but I don't know if the president of Hindu USA, he was also driving, but if you have something, you can also be able to say. If not,
that'd be great.
Are you still there?
All right, if he comes in.
Okay.
Okay. If he's not there, if he comes back, we'll give him a moment. But let me. I know it's 7:30 now, and we had intended to do up to 7:30, but Greenspan and this panelist, guys, we truly want to thank you, not just because you did this presentation today, because we know this presentation in itself is just a climax of what you guys have been doing underground, the stuff that you've been communicating to people. I think you have done a wonderful job, and convey this to other team members that were not able to be either panelists or be in this meeting, Frank and everybody else. I think if you continue doing this, we are going to save lives. Continue being the spokesperson or spokesman or, of the society and communities where people shy to come to their parents, be that bond, be that person that they can call to and you know where to channel their concerns in a manner that does not shame them, but helps them. So I truly, truly want to thank you panelists and also our speakers today, Ethan and Abigail. Thank you. This is information that would pay priceless in terms of the presentation and how you guys did it. So thank you so much. I am going to hand this over to our CEO, but before that, I want us to say thank you to Greenspan for what you did. This was a wonderful job. I'm going to hand over this now to Geoffrey. Then he can do a vote of thanks also. Yeah, I know I did it, but also if there's somebody else that we have missed out, I would like to point out and also give you updates on other good things that are coming this time and that can help us to continue saving lives. So back to our CEO, Geoffrey.
No, thank you. I think that was very informative. Wish we had more time, but I want to say thank you also to our speakers and panelists and everyone who logged in for the entire 1 hour, 30 minutes. Being with us. I see also great partners that we have. Nancy Foster from Think First. Thank you for joining. Casey Wilson, I saw that you are there with us. So we appreciate you, but also the big contribution that you've done in our programs, especially for raising these young people to be who they are this time. We appreciate you. And Hindu USA STL, I really appreciate you. It's been a great partner, great honor to partner with you guys. And we hope that we can be able to continue in reaching out more people and more groups in St. Louis, not just for the African community, but for the entire St. Louis region. Because when you're on the road, we are also driving and meeting everybody. So like COVID, if one of us is not safe, all of us is not safe. So that's why we are also not just reaching out our community, but want to reach out everybody in St. Louis, get the message of being unsafe on the road. Be safe also on substance abuse, and also be safe also when we are on our mental health and well-being. I think there is a survey that has been posted there. We wanted to hear your feedback. If you can click that post survey and take your few minutes, we just want to know, and I think the speakers want to know if this one was able to make an impact in your life. And more importantly, if you can be able to continue sharing this information with others. With that, I'll just hand over to Elizabeth so she can be able to share something about what's coming up. And maybe also you can share about our partners, appreciating all those people who've been able to put this event together.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. We really appreciate that our youth too for such a powerful message to everyone. And we hope that you'll continue putting that into practice and helping everyone around us who's actually going through a lot. Then I want to thank our partners. I want to thank Prevented, the Hindi community, St. Louis MHB, Mental Health First Aid, the MDOT, Teens Taking Traction to prevent traffic crashes, I also want to thank the TI, EPAD, the African Young Dreamers Empowerment Program, the Youth Engagement Society, and the St. Louis Service Fund. We also want to thank everyone from all the other states who were able to join us. I really appreciate that, and we hope that you were able to learn something. And then we'll also be providing some of the resources that can really help all of you. So this has also been sponsored by Think Fast Missouri 988 Suicide and Crisis Line, Show Me Zero, and the Fast Impact. So we'll also be sharing these resources, and also we'll be sharing a PDF on our chat so that you can be able to see all the surveys, all the resources, and everything that you are able to miss if you are not able to log in time. And then we'll also be sharing the upcoming events that you have. So far tomorrow we have a meeting known as Pathways to Tech Careers AI-enabled IT information session, which is sponsored by Pascalers, and one of their representatives, Cici Mingo, will be able to present tomorrow at 6 p.m. So please join us for that meeting, and we'll also be sharing that link. And on Saturday, we have life skills and personal growth for mentees. That will be at Victor for Africa office, and we encourage 8th to 12th grade students to join us at 11 a.m. this Saturday. And this is our monthly mentorship meeting. We're trying to be consistent so that we can be able to continue providing resources and mentorship for our high schoolers. On March, we have multi-cancer detection essays. This will be presented by Dr. Adetuji Toriola at 6 p.m. So we'll also be sharing that link and the sign-up sheet. Please sign up for that because he'll be talking about different tests and upcoming trials so that which comes with early detection on cancer, because I know one or more people know people who have cancer before, and if early detections can really detect that, please join the meeting so that you can be informed. And then please sign up for the mentors and mentees meeting on Saturday, March 21st. That will be at the Dickony Center. Please, all mentors and mentees will be meeting this year formally. So please sign up, and looking forward to seeing all of you that day. We'll also be having the Youth Mental Health First Aid on Wednesday, March 25th. This is designated for parents who have young kids. Please, if you're able to join the meeting, since it's going to be spring break, please sign up so that you can come for the meeting and learn more on mental health and how you're going to be able to assist your kids and also adults around you to be able to detect that and be able to help them. We'll also be having the couples dinner on March 27th at Holiday Inn. Please, parents, if you're able to join us, please come with your partner so that you can be able to have a great time and learn more on different ways to be more engaged. We'll also be having adult mental health first aid on Saturday, April 4th at Return for Africa office. And as we've talked about mental health, please, if you're an adult from college and parents, and this one will be from 18 and above. If you're able to join the meeting, please sign up, and we look forward to seeing you there. And then on June 19th, we'll be having our graduation party to celebrate our high schoolers who will be graduating this year. That will be at Holiday Inn. Please sign up so that we can be able to support our students who will be graduating, and we want to see the greater things that they've been doing. And we'll also be having our Women Empowerment Dinner on August 7th, which will also be at Holiday Inn. And this is dedicated to empowering women. Please, if you're able to share all these flyers, and we'll also be sharing a link so that you can be able to keep up with upcoming events together with their sign-up forms. Thank you so much, and I'll hand it back to Jeff.